Hey everyone, welcome back to Build. I'm your host, Brittany Jones-Cooper. Inspired by the beloved films, Broadway's Anastasia follows the story of a brave young woman named Anya who sets out to discover the mystery of her past. Along the way, Anya enlists the aid of a dashing conman named Dmitry, who helps her discover home and love. Today, I'm sitting down with recording artist Cody Simpson, who makes his Broadway debut as Dmitry. Let's take a look.
And a song someone sings once upon a
We did it. We got it.
Everyone put your hands together for Cody Simpson.
Thank you.
How you doing today?
I'm well. Happy to be here.
So let's start with that clip because you guys just released that, and that was with your co-star Christy,
Yes.
who plays Anya.
Yes. Fantastic.
That chemistry, like how fun has it been to work with her? Because she's a dynamo.
She's unreal. She's such a professional. She's a consummate Broadway star, you know, and I've been really lucky to be able to work with her, and she's, you know, already taught me so much in the last couple of weeks that I've been on. And so we arranged the acoustic version of Once Upon a December together, and just wanted to do something special. We thought it was appropriate time, being December and the holidays, and yeah.
And this is your Broadway debut. You said she's taught you some things. What are some of the things you've learned from watching her?
How to preserve your voice, you know, so you can do it 8 shows a week, you know, flawlessly, hopefully. That's what we hope for. She taught me how to, she taught me to eat Sour Patch Kids during intermission to keep your mouth and throat moist, and because it can dry out like that in the show, and it works. Yeah, so
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I just eat those for fun, but now I know that there's like a health benefit.
Yeah, I don't know about health benefit, but show benefit for sure. Yeah.
So this is your first turn on Broadway. How did that even come to you? Because I've known you as a recording artist.
Right.
I've heard your voice, but making that jump probably felt like a big leap to you a little bit.
I think it probably looked like a big leap for people, you know, for me coming from, you know, pop and rock and all that kind of stuff, and it being a different style of music and singing. But I've been a huge fan of musical theater for a long time, and film adaptations of musicals, musical shows, plays, things like that, and it was just never something I had thought intensely or completely rationalized doing myself. I almost didn't think it was possible. You almost look at it as like an all-star league, you know what I mean? Or, you know, and so I think the older I got, the more I realized that it was something I could possibly do. And so I went out for a few things this year, films and musicals and otherwise, and it eventually led me to going out for the role of Dmitry in Anastasia, which is, in my opinion, the perfect project to be introduced into this realm. So,
And what was that auditioning process like for you?
it's required a fair bit of vocal preparation. It's a vocally demanding part, as are all lead roles in a Broadway musical, of course. So just a bit of prep, and as an actor, it's something I've formally studied for a few years now, back in California. So that was a really exciting part about it too, was to be able to take on, a large responsibility as an actor, and as a leading male in something. It's a large responsibility, but something I was so excited to undertake.
So exciting. Is it hard to put that back in focus? Because what was that first curtain call like? Like, I would imagine the adrenaline is just so intense.
It was an extreme blur. the opening night, I remember getting ready to go on, warming up, drinking tea and stuff like I do before I go out, and then I remember taking my bow, and that's all I can really remember. The rest of it, I just, you almost have to treat it like it's a dress rehearsal, so you don't freak out too much. You know what I mean? Because I did a rehearsal. The first time I actually got to do the show with the whole cast and the production and the set and everything was the afternoon of my opening night, which was regular sort of practice here, but it's ups the stakes a little bit, But no, I got through it without any major hiccups, and I've only been getting more comfortable every night since I've been on, and ever since opening night, the whole cast and everyone has been so welcoming and comforting, and Christy especially, and John Bolton, who plays Vlad and who is a comedic genius in my opinion, is really fun to be able to play with every night, because you never know what he's going to do next. It keeps you in a state of suspense on stage.
I was so impressed. I got to see you perform, and the acoustics
On Sunday, right?
I did, yeah. It was a great show. I really enjoyed it. I love the story, and the performances were just so on par. The acoustics in that theater, I feel like in particular, are so amazing, and your voice really filled that space, and it was so cool
glad
to
to
hear.
hear that.
Yeah. So, what is the difference for you performing? I know you tour and you've been in studios, but in the theater like that, that's so iconic.
Right. Yeah. No, it requires a large amount of vocal projection, obviously, because you are mic'd. We are mic'd, but it's not to the extent of say a regular a concert where the vocal is the loudest thing in the room, and you can have your reverb and you can do all that. It's like it's dry and it's there, and it's up to you to make sure it's that everyone in the theater can hear you, especially in your lines, everything you say, especially in intimate moments. It's kind of like you want to preserve the reality of the scene, but you also want to make sure that the guy in the back left knows what the hell you're saying. You know what I mean?
Like screaming "I love you" into somebody's face.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What's been the most surprising part for you so far, though?
Surprising. How welcoming everyone has been. Coming into my first show, it's a nerve-wracking experience. There's a lot of pressure involved, but the cast itself was so nice, and all the people that were there on my opening, and everyone that has seen the show since. Every night I'm welcomed with such love at the stage door every time I leave, and the reaction has been so positive. So it's great. There were large shoes to fill. There's been two phenomenal actors and singers that have played this role before me. I didn't originate the character, obviously, taking on somebody else's role. So that's a bit of pressure too, but you kind of have to just do your best, and that's all you can do. Yeah.
I'm curious how much Dancing with the Stars prepared you for the intense choreography and learning things so quickly.
I guess so. I mean, a lot of my role, there's one or two numbers that have dance in it, and the rest is kind of just staging and things like that. But no, I mean, I've had a fair bit of dance and movement experience in the past, and that definitely wasn't the most challenging part of it. Yeah, the most challenging part was putting it all together and making it, giving it your own spin. You know what I mean? Because they're like, okay, you got to say this, you got to stand there for that, and sing this and dance that, and then now make it your own. So that's just part of the craft of being an actor, though, is making sure you're spinning it with your own style and stuff, because you can only take so much from what people have done in the past. You have to live in the moment-to-moment reality of it. Yeah.
Because you don't have a huge theater background, I'm curious, were you always interested in theater? Did you do some as a kid?
I was a monkey in the Jungle Book in my middle school production.
There you go.
Auditioned for Mowgli. Didn't get it. Always resented the guy who did it, who did get it, because he was the drama teacher's nephew. and so I ended up playing a monkey. I had 2 lines, and that was the extent of my school, musical experience. Yeah. A lot of other, obviously, musical experience on stage and stuff in the past that has prepared me for this, but it is a whole new beast, and it's such a remarkable craft, and I have a lot of respect for everybody who does it and has done it in the past, because you don't really know until you get up there and do it yourself what a demanding task it is to perform.
You mentioned too that you liked some musical theater music.
Right.
So what are some of those musicals that you kind of grew up singing? And
Guys and Dolls.
classic?
Was playing at the Roxy out there. Guys and Dolls. I recently saw a show called Once on This Island that was written by, or the music was written by the same composers and songwriters that did our show, and that was amazing. Grown up liking so many other ones, it's hard to pinpoint. But I've been able to see a lot of shows since I've been here now, which is nice. Yeah.
And you've been performing your entire life. I think we first maybe heard your name in 2009.
God, yeah.
Then, so you've been in the game for a minute. What is the biggest lesson you've learned about being a performer in this industry and longevity?
Oh, yes. Pacing yourself, because it's so tempting to go out there every night and scream, and because you want to give 100%, but you also don't want to wake up the next morning and not be able to go on the next day. It's like being an athlete. It's like if you were gonna go until your muscles fail every day in training, it's not a sustainable way of going about it. It's that sort of physical pacing, and it's also just a mental grounding, like a psychological grounding that you have to remain. Like there's a lot of things I do that keep me straight, and sane. From practice transcendental meditation quite often, swim laps, do things like that, and it's like without that stuff, when I don't do those kinds of things, like it can become a really high frequency experience, like never slowing down. So you have to do things that help you slow down. Slow is fast, in my opinion. It's never a sprint. It's always a marathon. Everyone wants to succeed today and be the best today and whatever. It's like, okay, you can be, but think 10 years, 20 years as well. It's important.
Do those things also help you kind of deal with all the attention, the headlines and the social media? I mean, I would think you have to kind of protect yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I go through phases where I'll just delete all the social media off my phone for a few weeks and just not look at it, and log into other people's phones and post on my, and just not look, because it's as much as that you're overwhelmed by all the positivity you receive. This, a lot of people have a lot of free time that I don't understand how to say horrible things about everyone that does anything or pursues anything in life. There's always people that are going to be there to try and sort of kick you in the ass. Yeah. So it is, it's just trying to remain straight and just keep the people who love you around you close.
I would imagine it goes both ways, because I also read something that you had fans already sending you fan mail to the theater.
Yeah.
So there's so much
First day
love
I
and
showed
support.
up for rehearsal, there was fan mail there. I was like, you haven't even seen me in the show yet. Don't jump the gun. But no, it has been extremely overwhelmingly positive, the response I've received.
So let's talk about your music. I know you have Cody and the Tide.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Your band. Mm-hmm. So what are you guys working on? I know your fans want to know that.
Yeah, we dropped 4 songs over the second half of this year on an EP called Wave 2. We've done Wave 1 and Wave 2 so far, and we're working on the next batch now. So I also just dropped a song called New Crowned King, which was an acoustic kind of a thing I'd written that people seem to be really enjoying so far. So yeah, no, it's music and writing music, writing in general is a daily practice of mine. So I don't see myself ever stopping doing that, no matter what other projects I'm involved with. Yeah. Do
you see your theater experience affecting your writing or things musically that you are inspired by now?
Like influencing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel like a different vibe now when you're writing, since you've been kind of immersed in this theater community?
I think so. Yeah, I think you realize, or what I've realized is that a pop concert can be like a theater experience too. And you can. I always love going and seeing artists shows that have a storyline and an arc and things like that. I recently saw the Jay-Z and Beyonce stadium show, and it had this whole. It's like you're going and seeing a show, and so I think that it's been extremely influential and given me a lot of ideas for how I can take this experience and bring it to my band and my music, and how that can positively sort of influence that too.
I'm also curious how it's been living in New York. I know you're from Australia.
Yeah.
All your family's back in Australia. It's really cold here.
Yeah, I've spent a fair bit of time in New York in the past, but I've never done a full winter. This is my first one. It's a change growing up in first in Australia and then in California, both places that don't really have winters, in the true sense. Or in the New York sense of the word. So it's been a shock for sure, but I'm really enjoying it. Gives me a chance to layer up and wear more clothes.
That's maybe good for some.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite part?
Depends who you are.
Yeah. What's been your favorite part about New York so far, though?
The culture here, it's so rich in art and literature and all that kind of. I've been going to museums and libraries and stuff, and that's something we don't really get in Los Angeles in the way that you get it here. So I've really been enjoying the kind of the cultural and the intellectual side of being here. Yeah. Especially being in the theater too. Like you learn so much about the history of it and all that stuff. It's great.
Well, we love having you here,
Thank you so
and
much.
I want everybody to check out Anastasia because it's
Yeah,
great.
go see it.
I know our audience has some questions before
I'll
we
be
get
there
out of here.
mostly.
So who do we have first?
Hi.
Hello. How you going?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
So my question is about your dynamic so far with the cast. And
Yeah.
I know that it's a very, very, that cast is almost like a family. Everyone gets along so well.
Absolutely.
How has it been like getting along through the shows so far?
Sure. It's been great. It's been ever since my first day working with Christy and John was, they were so welcoming and so cool, that we wanted to find, ever since the first day, we were trying to find our own moments and our own, things that our characters could do that, maybe were different to the way it's been done in the past or whatever. But you also want to stay true to the story and the way it's, portrayed on stage. So everyone's been awesome so far, and we're only getting closer and more in the rhythm as we go along. Yeah. Thank you.
Chemistry is amazing. You can feel it in the audience.
Really?
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
really, really
Thank
fun.
you.
We have a Twitter question, actually. Mutual Mendez wants to know, what's the biggest difference between performing live on tour and performing live on Broadway?
Performing on Broadway, I think, requires a fair bit more. It's a fair bit more vocally demanding, fair bit more discipline involved, which I personally really enjoy. I thrive off of. But at the same time, there are things that translate over. I mean, I guess performing live on tour, you're in a different city every night, and then on Broadway, you're in one place, and I can, I have a bit of a home and go home to it and come back to the theater. So that'll be the difference. Yeah.
Has this made you want to do more Broadway?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this first of many.
Hopefully.
And one last question? Or do we think we have two more?
Nice shirt. Great.
Thank you.
Out here
Thank-
representing. Love it.
Of course. I've been a fan of Anastasia since the beginning.
Awesome.
So I was so excited to hear that you were coming in.
Thank you.
But my question is, like, every Dmitry that has been on the show has their favorite song. Yep. So which one is yours?
Gosh, that's a great question. Of mine that I sing, it's Everything to Win. And of the show in general, it's the Vlad and it's once Christy is once Anya. I'm sorry. Once Anya as the Empress has discovered her, and they make the press release and all that. It's the song that they sing. I really have a liberty to gossip with the press.
Oh, the
Or
press
something.
conference.
Yeah, the press
conference.
Exactly. So I wasn't sure what it was called. I remember listening to the soundtrack. But that one, or We'll Go From There, I think.
Oh, I love that song.
Which is great, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cody.
I just gave 3
I love that she
just
knew
for
the
one.
name though. She was like, I got you.
But of mine, it's everything to win. That's my favorite one to sing.
And we have one more question.
Sure.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
All right.
Good.
So my question was, if another opportunity arises, is there another play or musical that you'd be interested in auditioning for?
That's a great question. Absolutely. I'm not sure what our casting right now are in the works. I've been so focused on this, but should one come up, absolutely would love to. When I'm older, Guys and Dolls is one that I'd really like to do. I'm a little young for it, I think, at the moment. That would be amazing. Hair would be really fun. I know they're doing a live, possibly something. So yeah, something like that would be great.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, thanks.
Thank you so much.
In the meantime, though, all your fans can catch you in Anastasia, and I will say that it is such a classic musical, and I love that they're constantly updating it. So it was so cool to see you in that role. If you guys want to check
you.
out
I'm having
Cody,
a
you can
ball.
see him in Anastasia now through February 17th. Give it up for Cody.